Floor is yours.
Hello. Okay, so when I go to my listing presentations, I always go with a folder, and it kind of just like so that you can leave something with your client. Um, Basically, it's kind of like giving them a little bit more of like a something tangible, because when you're going, like obviously you're speaking and whatnot, and they might be meeting with more than just one agent, right? The majority of the time, it's not just you, it's maybe another four. So I always go, I have something. I actually get something from Mary, which is like a buyer and seller escrow paperwork. And it's just basically telling them what transpires through the escrow process. On top of that, I always have like my business card, and then a flyer from like my past like listing, so that they can see kind of like photos and whatnot. And then a little notebook and a pen, so that like they can write down like their questions, or anything that they like want to ask later, or like key ideas and whatnot, right? Um, you can get it personalized or not. It doesn't matter. Mine's not personalized. It's just, something for them to have. Um, when I go to the listing, I get there a little bit early. We knock on the door, and then we wait for them to invite us in. I always ask for a tour of the home. So I said, "Oh, can I put my bag down here? Because right, we have our computer and whatnot." But you ask them for a tour of their home, because you want them to tell you, even though you already know, let's say, layout, whatnot, whatever. Ask for that tour. They'll give you a tour. They'll tell you what you're looking at. Obviously, it could be like a basic room, but you're listening to key points of what they're saying, right? So they could be saying something like, "Oh my gosh, my bathroom, blah, 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 whatever, grandma made this and whatever." And so then it's kind of like you're getting these points that, okay, this is like grandma's house, right? It's going to be an emotional sale, or whatever it may be, right? But it's things like that that you're listening to in the beginning. You're kind of trying to see who your person is and what you need to do with any kind of information that they give you. You're not just going in there and you're like, "Yeah, I'm going to sell it for like $2 million," right? You're going to figure out who this person is and what it is that they really want from that sale. Okay. So then we sit down and we'll go over the presentation. I just tell them, "Here, this is what we're going to do. We work for Coldwell Banker. Janie and I work really well together. If it's a listing that Janie and I are doing together, we'll do it together. If not, I don't change my slide. I still have her in there, because for me, then it's like, this is my business partner, and should I not be available, or you're trying to call me and whatnot, and I'm not able to answer, or I'm on vacation or out sick or whatever, my business partner can help show you whatever it is, right? Even if she's not part of the transaction." Um, the PowerPoint presentation I do show every time, dependent on the person. If it's somebody that was referred to me that's like, "Yeah, Maria, okay, just tell me how much and that's it," I'm not going to go over the presentation. They're going to get pissed off at me, and you don't want that. But I always go through it so that they kind of understand, even if they are a friend, it's somebody that like wants to know what you're doing, right? It's not just like, "Hey, Carlos, come on, I'm just going to go sell your house." No, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do, what you're paying me for, right? Um, I'm going next. So when we talk to them, we tell them that we're full service. So we basically help them with, like if they need a painter, if they need somebody to change the carpet, if they need someone to remove all of their junk, right? So we're there to kind of help them and guide them through the process from like start to end. Obviously, helping them in return if they're like, "You know what, I have a dog and I don't have any," I've done this before. "I have a dog and I don't have anybody to watch him during the open house." I'm like, "All right, let me go take the dog to my kids. They'll watch the dog while we do the open house," right? So kind of like just help them with whatever their concern is. Okay, next. Obviously, we go through everything. So we do tell them that when we do the open houses as a listing agent, I always have a lender there. should a buyer come through that's not qualified, I have my lender that can kind of give them ideas of what to do so that they can qualify or get them going through that process, right? And then we go through like, obviously like title services and what their fees would be, warranty services with the seller paying for like a home warranty and that kind of stuff. And really just giving them that assurance of like, hey, like I have like the vendors that you need so that we can move through the process. Then we go to like, okay, number one, visit a real estate brand. I go into the whole Coldwell Banker thing because Coldwell Banker is so big, right? When I was with the other company, that company was so big, right? So it's wherever you're at, it's so big. Like we can get, oh my gosh, look at our sales, blah, 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 right? But it kind of gives them that assurance of like, hey, you know what you're doing, even if you're new, right? Even if you just started 6 months ago, it doesn't matter. Look at how much volume Coldwell Banker has, right? And it's not that you're skewing anything. It's just like, hey, my office has X amount that they've made this month, right? It's like you're sharing information. You're not saying, oh, me, right? But you're just sharing that information. So you want to make sure that they feel comfortable. I also say it's a global reach, right? And by the way, all of these slides, I got them from Coldwell Banker. So I just like kind of modified them to me and Janie. So global reach, this is actually from last year, 100,000 agents that you can refer should they want to move to Guam or Mexico, right? You can refer them to a Coldwell Banker agent out there. Online exposure. So with this, we kind of just say, you know, like when we're going to sell your home, it's going to go online. It goes to all of these websites. It syndicates everywhere once we put it into the MLS. And then this is our marketing. So I'll go into the marketing and kind of tell them like, hey, this is what we do. You know, so obviously we're going to have the advertisement. I have my flyers that we're going to have for the open house. If you door knock ahead of time, you go and you're leaving your door knocking, like inviting all the neighbors, like, hey, come to my open house. We're going to have it this day, whatever. Email marketing. So like if you have like a MailChimp or something like that, that you can do like circle prospecting. And then obviously like we'll do the open house, you have your yard sign, online social media, all these videos, like all the other stuff that you can do that kind of puts their property out there. Another thing that I say is like, you know, with my social media, I have a lot of agent friends, and all my agent friends have buyers that want to purchase in specific areas. So it's easy for me to go and talk to my agent friends on social media, share your property, and get it sold that way as well. And then we go into like positioning their property. And this is just basically like, okay, do you need to stage it? Do we need to remove things? Do you need to paint? Do we need to get rid of whatever it is that we need to get rid of, right? Thank you. So it's just kind of giving them like that advice of what they need for whatever their property looks like. It could be that you walk in and it's a hoarder house and you're just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do, right? And you have to be in the nice way, a little more direct. But hey, you know what? Let me help you clean your house. And I don't know if you guys do that, but like I do. I'll go in and I'll say, hey, is it okay if I come in here and I bring like my kids or whatever, like bring your brother, whoever, it doesn't matter. You go in there and you can move things around if they give you the permission to, so that the house looks good. Photos, right? But yeah, so we go over that as well. And then we do have a professional photographer, and all of this, mind you, like with my flyers, with my PowerPoint presentation, it probably takes about 45 minutes to go through. So I don't take up a lot of the seller's time so that they're not like yawning and whatnot. You also, at the time that you're doing this, you want to engage with them, because if you see that they're falling asleep, you need to change that conversation right away, right? They're bored. They're not interested in what you're saying. So you need to kind of change it, right? And so
see your listing presentation is 45 minutes.
Yeah, it's about an hour. Yeah. So like the slides and stuff is like 45 minutes. Yeah. You don't want to go too long because you will bore them. Like they're just gonna want to leave. Or okay, thanks for your time, and they won't want it. They will not call you. But so I go through the professional photography. Everybody has their own photographer. Like to me, it really depends on the property. If it's a 2-bedroom condo, I am not going to be doing a 360 like video or the Matterport or any of that, no drone photos, none of that, because you want to leave a little bit of like like okay, you have people coming in, you want to leave a little bit of imagination, right? Where you're not going to take every single corner and all of a sudden everybody sees it. And I know that was popular during COVID, but like right now people are out there looking at homes, so makes it easy for them to just go and they're like, oh, I didn't know that bathroom was there, right? Like at least that way they're out there and they're going. But yeah, so like a really big house, like I have one on the lake in Mission Viejo. That one I actually did the Matterport, I did the video. I did the those pictures you do at night. What are they called? Twilight photos. I did that as well. But because that was a warranted property, it's like 5,000 square foot home. Right. So you kind of like match it to whatever it is that their home is like. Okay. Then I go into like 100% of home buyers now are using the internet. All of our, like with our generations, it's all on the phone, right? It's like they're looking online, like our generation Z and the millennials and whatever. Everything's online. Everything is through Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, whatever it is. Like they're all looking online for their houses, right? Or you have them on a portal, and so they're going that way as well. I do say that I have it on my website for Coldwell Banker so that they can visit my website and see my other properties as well. Social media, we already went through that. So I kind of just say, like it's over 500 million impressions on social media. We can kind of see that. I can send you a little report if you want to see how your home is doing. I have the ability to do that. And then that way you can see how many views your property has gotten. And then the email marketing, then we go into that. And obviously, like we do reverse prospecting where like if my friend has a client that's looking for the same home that you're looking for, they're going to receive your home through the MLS because that's the portal that they have them on. And then brochures of the property. Once again, this I always tell them it's kind of like, it depends on the property, right? So if I do have a 2-bedroom condo, I'm not going to do like a 3-fold brochure, right? But I'll do the regular flyer, I do the door knocking, I do postcards, I do that kind of stuff. But once again, it depends on the size of your home, right? And then direct mail, just when you do like your farming, you're just sold, whatever. I actually like to go door knocking. So like I do a lot of like the in-person stuff because I feel that you can get more of a feel for the person if they're looking to sell, right? So like I have a property right now that we're getting photos tomorrow, and it is a 2-bedroom condo. And so we're getting photos tomorrow, but that one, they came to my open house a year and a half ago. And so because when I sold that home, I went out and I door knocked and I left flyers on people's homes when they were not available. This one in particular had already signed into my open house and they're like, oh, we like this and we're not ready to sell, but maybe, in like a year, whatever. So I followed up, sent them their property profile, all this other stuff. They ended up calling me in January. So we've been with since January getting this property ready, and this is just from door knocking and leaving your flyers, which cost $0, by the way.
$0.
$0.
What do you mean? Oh, but not the flyers. The postcard.
$50 for flyers or $100.
Oh.
That's true. That's true. And then you always want to put yourself first, right? So we always say like 90% of buyers are going to rely on agents, right? Because you don't want to be like oh, like AI or whatever, all this other stuff, right? Or I could do it myself, right? Because then a lot of these people are like, oh, I'm just going to sell the home myself so I can save commission. No, you used to rely on your agent because you don't want to get sued after, right? Um, oh, that one's cut off. All right, I think that says 60% of buyers still attend open houses. But once again, a lot of the time the buyers are coming in from the open house. They're coming in with their agents, or even if they don't have an agent, they're going to be coming in. Obviously, they want to see the home, right? If not, they come in with their agents.
They're probably reformatted when they opened in this program.
Oh, maybe. Okay. And then I go into like what we're gonna do, right? So like before we used to do the virtual open houses. Obviously, we don't do that. If you do have somebody, which I have had, that's coming from like the Bay, for example, I'll do like the FaceTime with them so that they can see the house. Obviously, we'll do private showings for your home. That will actually look at whatever your schedule is. If you have kids, you work from home, whatever, we kind of make it work, right? So that's when we're getting their timing for whatever it is they need. And then we do the traditional open house, which is going to be on the weekends. Generally, I do 1 to 3. I'm not doing this long open house. And the reason why that I've noticed is if you do a small 1 to 3, everybody comes 1 to 3. And then it looks like you've got a super crazy busy open house. It creates that urgency factor. And those people are like, no, I got to submit an offer because my house, that house is going to go quick, right? So I always do that. I tried the Friday thing. I don't think it works for me. Like, I feel like Friday nights, people want to relax or go have a drink and they're not going to go look at an open house, right? But yeah, I just do 1 to 3 because it's not super early for the people that work really late. It's not super late because you can still go and do your thing as a buyer, right?
Do you commit to a specific number of open houses?
No. So sometimes they'll ask me, like, hey, so how many open houses are you going to do? I said, we're going to do open houses until your house gets sold. But I'm not committing to like every weekend. But I'm not going to tell them that, right? You don't tell them, no, I'm not going to do your open house next week. No, my thing is we're going to do the open house the first week and we're hoping to get an offer accepted by Thursday. Right. And if your property is listed at the right price, you will get an offer by Thursday. You will be in escrow. If you're overpriced, yeah, you're going to have to do as many open houses as possible, right? But if you're listed at the right price, Thursday, it's done. Yeah. Okay, and so then we get to the scary part, right? This is the scary part, like how much is your home worth, right? Because let's admit it, sellers think that their houses are worth $2 million when they're really only worth $1 million, right? So here is where you're taking it away from you, right? You're basically saying, okay, if we price your house at the asking price, this is how many buyers you're going to have, the percent. If we price it over, this is what percent of buyers are going to look at your home. So I always say, you price it at the current market value, 95% of buyers are going to come to that open house, right? So you're going to have a bigger pool of buyers. You're going to have that like multiple offer situation versus if you price it higher, you have less buyers, right? Then I always ask them, so what do you think, after going over all of this, what do you think your home is worth? I let them tell me, because then I'll say, oh, they're way off, right? Like, or you know what, they're actually like, they're right there, okay? They're like good. And so once they tell me what it is, then I go into their specific comps, right? So I have those pulled up on my computer as well. And that's where I'll show them, okay, this house sold last month for X amount. And then this one sold, this one's active, this one's still on the market. It's been on the market for 60 days, but I feel like it's overpriced, right? So then I kind of give them ideas. You don't want to bombard them with like all these like properties, but if you give them at least, let's say, maybe 1 active, 2 active, like 2 of each, then you can say, hey, it's not me. This is what the market is showing, right? And then it's not you. after that, and I don't know if I have any more slides. So we'll go over this, right? So like I will have all of my properties that have sold, all the properties that are pending, all of that kind of stuff, right? So we go over the CMA. Okay. Then we go over negotiation strategies, and that's when I tell them, right, like, okay, if we price your property, let's say 1.5, but the last one sold at 1.4, you have that difference there that you might not get. But the market now says whatever it is, right? Buyer's market, seller's market, whatever it is that is within that time frame. Like right now, I feel like it's more of a buyer's market, even though you can still get multiple offers if your property is priced right, right? Let me go to the next. And then I always bring a contract with me, a blank contract. So I will always have a contract so that if they're ready, I'm not going to docu-sign it to them. Sign it right now, right? Because at that point, they're happy with you. Why are you going to give them the opportunity to go sign with Joe Schmo, right? So you have the contract with you, you get it signed, and you let them know that you will go back to the office and you will email them a copy of it, right? But very simple. It's just kind of.
How do you introduce the listing contract to them?
So then I tell them, okay, so this is what I feel that your home property is worth. Okay. And then they'll say, let's say, okay, yeah, that's great. Let's do it. Okay, well, let me have you sign this contract. I'm going to go over it with you, which is what I do. So I'll go over the contract. I'll tell them what they're signing because you don't just want to give them this. Now I believe it's like 20 something pages, right? So I go over it, I tell them what they're signing and how much it is. I do go over the commission part of things because you want your seller to know that they're going to pay you and the other agent, right? And so I always tell them, okay, so last year we had these changes, with the National Association of Realtors, blah, blah, blah. So now commission is completely based on the buyer and the seller. So I will negotiate my commission. I charge 3%. However, for the buyer, if the buyer agent brings up a really good buyer, you need to pay them. And so the other agent will have a something signed with their buyer of how much they want to get paid. And it's up to you on if you want to accept that or not. I said generally 2.5 is what like the standard is. I've never had any pushback with that because at the end of the day, the way I say it is like you're only paying me 3%, right? And then they're like, oh, that's good, right? Or okay, that's fine. If I do get pushback, I'll lower it to 2.5. But I really don't have an issue with that.
Have you had anyone say, I don't want to sign it now, or I'm still interviewing agents or anything like that?
Say, okay, so I'm just gonna leave it here for you. And then if you have any questions, you let me know. But out of everything that I've said, is there something that I could have said differently, or is there a reason why you would not choose me? Right?
Can you do that?
Yeah. Your technique, embedded commands. I learned the embedded command thing. But is there a reason why you would not choose me? And I just stare at them and wait for them to answer that. Because the person that answers first is the loser, right? So I'm not going to answer for them. I'm going to wait for them. And then I just laugh and wait. And then they'll tell me, oh, no, you did great. I just need to talk to my husband or whatever it is. Okay, no problem. Well, when can I follow up with you? I said, can I call you tomorrow at 3:00? And then they'll say, yeah, sure. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be busy at that time, but call me on this day. Okay, no problem. And that's it. And then I'll text them later that day. Hey, it was great meeting you. If you have any other questions, please let me know. Because then you're staying on top of mind. Yeah.
So another question, do you ever get pushback on commission? And if so, how do you handle it?
So I say I have 5 children and I need to take care of that. Yeah, I don't agree. No, what I will say is if they're like, okay, well, you know what, your commission is too high. And, I say, well, I do a lot in the back end, things that you guys don't see. There's a lot of vetting that we do as listing agents. I'm gonna go door knock for you and find you a buyer. I will be taking care of all of your property with everything that it is that you need with your pictures, with all of the marketing that we do. So there is a lot that comes in, but I tell you what, commission is negotiable and we can talk about it later.
And it's great that you introduce everything that you're gonna do for them before you talk about commission, because they like, there's no question, they can't say, well, what are you doing for that commission? I just told you. Are you not listening? I just told you.
Yeah,
And this, but also, if you don't sell it, you don't get paid.
right,
So they're only gonna pay you if it sells. That
Right.
means you did your job.
right.
I had a talk with a potential client, and they decided to go with a Redfin agent because they charge only 1.5%. And I couldn't say much to that. I think they already made their mind. I think I might have talked about it with you already.
Yeah.
But what do you say to that specifically? Where they're looking at like very bargain style, like kind of agents, yeah.
Oh my gosh, how come you didn't tell me? I could have done that for you.
It's from-
Because I mean, at the end of the day, to get the listing right, like you would have done it, right? But at the same time, I believe there's a connotation with like Redfin agents. Like they're not like they're almost like more like they just open the door. I don't know about the listing side, but I do know like the buyer's side. And I'm not trying to bash them or anything, but like they do have like that connotation of like, oh, they're not like there to really help you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, they have someone that opens the door for people. They have someone that someone that handles the contracts. So in some cases, you might not even be talking to the agent or be
Yeah.
involved with the agent,
See,
at all.
then for me, I would say now knowing that, I'm actually hands-on. I will be there from start to finish and you are directly working with me, not 10 other people.
Like a random faceless person.
Yeah.
Never
Yeah.
before,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Redfin has different agents that do different things,
Uh-huh.
and some of them get paid to do certain things.
Uh-huh.
So the actual listing agent that you're working with,
Yeah.
you might not talk to them or hear from them.
Okay.
Because they have other people handling,
Right.
paperwork or scheduling the showings, things like that.
Could I say that style of what they do is just not effective?
It's not personal. You don't get that personal touch, from, communication from the agent.
But you never want to bash another agent,
Right, I don't want that either.
because then you look like you're the sore one,
Yeah.
right? You just say, I take my job very seriously and I will be there from start to finish. I believe with that brokerage, they have other people that they work with you, right? I will be hands-on with you and I will take care of everything for you. You have a question, you can text me at 9, no later than 9:30. Whatever it is, right? But it's more of like a hands-on, like you're more connected with that person. Another thing, like when you're with your people, it's really good to mirror and match them, right? Because if you know they're engineers, you have to be factual, right? It's facts. They want the facts. If it's someone like me, I don't want to hear all of this stuff. You tell me how much you're going to do for what I get out of it, and let's go, right? So you want to make sure you know who your person is.
So does that mean that when you go on a listing presentation, you can change it on the fly depending on,
100%.
you meet the person, oh, this is their personality? They don't want to hear all this. They
Yeah.
want to talk about how the memories are in this house and what we did. And then, oh, okay, how much can we sell it for?
Yeah.
So you don't have to go through all that.
Right. Especially the 80-year-olds. They will love you, but they will tell you their whole life story. Okay. So you will be there for 3 hours if you don't cut it. Right.
Yeah.
But you want to be like nice about it. And I've done this, like with my older people, I listen to them. I understand them. If they're military, I say, oh my gosh, like, thank you for your service. Like, this is amazing. Like, whatever, right? They have their house with plastic all over their couches. It's okay, right? Like, it's not a big deal. Oh, my mom had that, and you just kind of relate with them and you should get the listing. Like, that's easy. It's just, it's relating with that person. Yeah. But after you get your listing signed, then you really need to work on it. And even if it is your first one and you're like, oh my gosh, I got it signed and you're so excited. always ask for help. It doesn't make you less of a person if you go, hey, I don't even know what I'm doing. Can you help me with this? Like it's easy. And Carlos is great with helping. Richard's amazing. Like there's other people that can help. I'm open to helping as well. So whatever, I'll even sit in your open house if you guys want me to. I enjoy this. So like for me, it's fun. Super important when you do your open houses, you have to remember that the reason you're doing open houses is for more leads, right? Like yes, you want to sell that house, but it's for leads. Like you guys want to make money. You guys want to get the next listing in that neighborhood. You want to get a buyer for yourself, right? So I think I shared with you guys in book club that I was closing my open house, and these people were like rushing in there. It was like 3:05, and I'm like, oh, I gotta go, right? But I stayed. I talked to them. Ends up, dude works for NASA, and he's qualified for $2 million. So he's the one that's writing the offer on the Eichler. So these are all people that might come into your open house that if you talk to them, like they will become a buyer or a seller, right? So that's the most important thing. The door knocking is for that, for you guys to get more business. So after my open houses, I brought this in so I can show you guys. After my open houses, I'll go around and I'll like leave something like this because you guys have buyers, right? Or people that didn't end up getting that property. So this one just says exclusive opportunity. It says our buyer lost to multiple offers again. She's looking for a home in your area. So then that's it. If I door knock, there's somebody there that answers, I'll give it to them. If not, I leave it on their porch, right? Because then my phone number is there and they'll say, hey, so I might sell not right now or later, whatever. What is your buyer looking for? And I'll tell them, oh, well, we just lost out on 123 Main Street and it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. What do you have? Right. And then it's a conversation you're starting with somebody. And let's say you don't have that buyer yet, right? You can still say, oh, well, you know what? You go and you say, yes, I do. You go and you see the house and then, oh, you know what? This might not work for them, but I can help you get to that next step of selling your home. Right.
So that's after you sold it, a house.
Yeah. So like I closed escrow on my Beechwood listing on Monday. So after it closes, I've got my flyers being made where I'm going to go door knock that neighborhood and the adjacent neighborhood so that I can let them know that I sold that property. And if anybody else is looking to sell, they can call me.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah.
Can I see that?
Yeah. Any other questions?
So if it's a neighborhood that you've never listed or sold a house in, do you look at comps and like recent history of sales and not just what you have in the presentation, but just common knowledge of the area?
Oh yeah. I have a listing coming up in Temecula. I don't live in Temecula, but I'm gonna take it. And I know the area because it's Temecula, right?
That's nice,
It's wine country, it's beautiful, right? And so I've been to the downtown. And so like you just look at that, right? And so like even if you go on that day to go meet with that person, go ahead of time, like an hour or so, and then you drive around and you figure out what your neighborhood is. But yeah, I look at a year prior. I know comps are only 6 months, but I look at a year because that year will tell you what has happened in that area within the last, like balancing market. Yeah.
Any questions? Come on, Martin.
By the way, the PowerPoint presentation is Coldwell Banker's PowerPoint presentation. I just put in my photos and kind of tweaked it a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I just, do you do anything special for them when you close or anything like that?
I have a closing gift.
Okay, what do you?
So on the team that I used to work on before, they had standard gifts. It was their first transaction, second transaction, and third transaction. So they're exactly the same gift for each person, right? To me, I like to cater to my client.
Okay.
So I listen to them the whole transaction. And as I listen to them, I get to know them, right? If they have kids, I buy the kids gifts. So like if they're buying a new house, like I'll buy the little one, like a cute little trampoline they can have outside. If it's the parents and I know that they like this one particular restaurant, I'll go and I'll buy like a gift card for that restaurant. But I also like Home Goods is really good because they would need to decorate their house. Home Depot, if they're handy and you're listening to them. I did have a client who was, he works for Facebook. And so he's kind of like geeky anime. And my kids are into anime. So I know, like, I'm like, hey, where can I get this? And then they're like, oh, go here. And so like, I'll go and I'll buy them whatever anime that I remember that they liked. And so I make it a little more personable for each person.
Can I ask generally how much you spend on that gift? Just so.
Like 200 to 300. Yeah. Yeah. Depends.
I have a
mean,
question.
yeah.
How much, or excuse me, what were the gifts, the standard gifts that?
The standard gifts?
Yeah,
Okay, so first transaction was and I don't know the brand, but Crate and Barrel wine glasses with a bottle of wine. Second transaction was Cutco knives engraved in the listing agent's team name. Third transaction was iPad also engraved in their listing agent's name. So it was very standard. It came in a specific color because you're branding, right? Came in a specific color, had that in there, and then you had your thank you card that you guys write your personal, thank you, whatever, and then you put it in there. But yeah, so we used to go and deliver those on the day. Always deliver on the day that you give the keys, right? That's really important because then it makes it very special. Yeah.
I have a comment. Your photos,
Yeah.
they look like stock photos. Like the photos of you guys together, like in the
Thank you.
kitchen, in front of the front door, they look like stock photos. Who's your photographer?
She's actually like a family photographer. Like she does family. She doesn't do real estate agent
She
photos.
does a good
She's
job.
really good. Yeah. She calls them lifestyle photos. So, yeah.
Anybody at home have questions?
So do you go with Janie most of the time? Like, does that help when it's two people versus one, or
Like door knocking or like at the listing presentation?
at the listing presentation?
Not necessarily. Like if it's my listing and I don't want to share my money, I'm right. However, if it is in an area that like, okay, so like we have our own like I like this, right? So if I know it's in an area that like, let's say for example, it's an Eichler, I'm gonna have her come with me because she's really good at that, right? Or if it's in an area that like Riverside, I'm not gonna take her with me. She doesn't know anything about Riverside, right? So you kind of just whatever, right?
What about door knocking?
Door knocking, I ask her to come with me. Sometimes she says yes, and sometimes she's like, nah, I'm good.
Are you guys a team?
No, we just support each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. Anything else? Have you guys had anything where you're like, oh, I got stuck here? Like with your stuff? Oh, did you go back and ask why they didn't choose you?
No, I haven't been able to. It's a person at my kid's school, and they're selling a house in Kaito, Laguna Hills, which could be potentially pretty nice. home.
Huge, yeah.
So, but they're the ones that wanted to go with the Redfin agent. I said they only charge 1.5. Can you do that? I said yeah, but the problem with that was they interviewed me through just asking me questions through email. I said like, can you answer these questions? And I tried to. Oh, I would really love it to go visit you guys and talk about it. They didn't want to do that. I don't want to force it, so I just answered that, and they passed kindly. Part of it was because I'm pretty new. Also, they just wanted someone that had a little more experience. So I haven't been able to do that yet.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
Should have taken Maria with you on your
I
listing
know, I
presentation.
should, but they didn't want to meet. But I think they were already set.
Yeah.
And I got there a little too late.
Yeah.
So do you have something to say when they say, "Oh, you're new"? Like, what's your response? Like
When you're new,
they're like, "Oh, I want somebody with experience." You know.
actually, I have a whole team of experienced agents that I work with. That's it. like co-op banker. I mean, I've been doing this for 8 years. I don't know, you longer, right? So I actually work with the whole team, and they've been doing this for over 15 years.
After having that conversation, I would say I would lean very heavily, because I'm very new, but I would lean very heavily on how well this office does. And just like, I've been trained here, everyone here knows what they're doing, and just really rely on that. If you can't say anything about your own personal achievements, yeah.
Question for you. Do
Yeah.
you think it's because of you told them your percentage, or was it your?
No, I said I'll do it for
Experience.
1.5. I said I'll do that, it's fine. But I think it was experience. I also think they are also very close to signing with me anyways. So that was that, yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys have any questions or need any help, I'm in the office sometimes. You got my number.
So, while we're here, is there any input from other agents? I know Shweta is on here, Harriet's on here, Mark. Do you guys have anything to add to it? Anything that you do different or that you've experienced?
Tips and tricks.
No, I mean, I think everybody does something differently.
Yeah.
But like Maria is, in my opinion, probably one of the strongest agents around in Orange County. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know, you don't fight success. I mean,
I will say though, like I've been watching Mark's TikToks. I can't do that. but it's good. So they tell you, like, so I've done a lot of training with Tom Ferry, whatever, and coaches and whatnot. But they tell you, like, when you do your social media, you have to like just do it, and when you do it, it's almost like you get all of these views, good or bad, it doesn't matter, right? You're exposing yourself, and then people know who you are. So I always say get over it, but I can't get over it. So I just rather not do it and do other things.
Like the video stuff?
Yeah, and I used to be into like the whole videos, and we had a videographer, and we did all of this for a long time. But then I'm like, I'll do that, and then I get busy. So I'd rather be busy, and I'd rather go door knock and actually talk to buyers and sellers and people that want to sell their homes.
Videos are, so you're good at it. Talking to people.
Yeah, I can talk to everybody.
Young, did you have a question?
Thank you,
Okay.
Maria.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Maria. Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will see you guys next week. So next week's class is going to be on now that you have a listing. What do you do? Because hopefully you did what Maria did and you got the listing contract signed. And what do you do next? You celebrate? Yeah, you probably go home and have a glass of wine to celebrate. But then there's a lot of work to do. So we're going to talk about what to do next.
Help yourself with the donuts.
Thank you.